So hitting rock bottom with my addiction was absolutely life-changing and just a huge wake-up call for me. And as I was going through this storm, I really thought I was going to be stuck and just trapped forever. I was never going to get out of it. Like, why is this happening to me? I shouldn't be going through this. But now being on day 33, I think on my I Am Sober app, I'm like a month and 2 days since I last smoked weed. I am just seeing now more than ever that this is absolutely what needed to happen for me. I needed to fall solo to the ground, if that makes sense. Just completely hit rock bottom with this. Just to see how marijuana was affecting my life negatively, like in every single aspect, whether it was my financial status, relationships with people, my job, my mental state, just, my happiness and just where I was at with that. Because the reality is that, when I first got into it, I just wanted to try it to see how it would make me feel and stuff like that. The reality is I didn't need it beforehand. Hair in my mouth. Yeah, sure, my life wasn't perfect, but the reality is the first, 21 years of my life, especially, during my high school years, my college years, I never got into it. I never needed it beforehand, I think as individuals, we all go through storms in our life or just, bad chapters in our lives. But I think there's always going to be that one big moment that just, you really just have to come out of it, whether it's, drug addiction, any kind of addiction. Maybe you're not doing the best financially. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your relationships suck or something like that. Just anything. I think we all have to fall to the ground to, rise and get back up, if that makes sense. And like I said, now being on, I think it's day 33 of my sobriety, I am just seeing so many wake-up calls. I'm very fortunate and lucky that I had a job that was willing to give me a leave of absence to kind of work on my, addiction and to tackle this so I could come back and, be at full strength, just so I could come back to work and be happy and, be okay throughout my shift, perform to the best of my ability throughout my shift. But the reality is at most jobs, I would have been fired. I would have been let go. They would have saw that I was struggling and, struggling to come into work, struggling to perform. And they wouldn't have really cared, what was going on in my life. So the reality is I got very lucky with this. So that was just like a huge wake-up call for me. And now I'm finally working again. Last week was my first, full week at work. And I just felt so amazing being back at work. Because don't get me wrong, like it was great seeing everybody. But the biggest thing at work was I just didn't feel sharp in my brain at all. I felt like I was forgetting things all the time. So it was just really affecting my ability to perform and, do my tasks at work and stuff like that. And now there's still that brain fog. There's still like times where my memory's not the sharpest. But when I'm given a task at work now, I just feel like so much more confident in my ability to get it done. Like I said, I feel sharper in my brain, so I'm not forgetting things as much. And so by the time my shift ends and it's time for me to go home, I just feel so much more accomplished in myself. I'm so proud of myself. I feel like I can do anything at this job now. And so that's where like these wake-up calls come into place. Like, wow, the reality is I could have had this like such a long time ago if I just, tackled this addiction a long time ago. And I'm not trying to beat myself up. I'm so glad I'm doing it now, Another big wake-up call is my financial status. Marijuana, as I'm sure you guys know, is super expensive. And especially if you're going to the dispensary on a weekly basis, you're probably dropping at least like $50 a week, $100 a week at times, I don't think I was $100 a week, but I'm not gonna lie, it got pretty close at times. And now I'm realizing how much it was affecting my, financial status. And now it just feels so relieving to just know that once I start making money again and, the paychecks start coming in, that money is just gonna go to, a savings account. I'm gonna start saving for things that matter. I'm gonna start spending on things that actually matter, Like I don't wanna say spending money on marijuana was, killing my bank account, but it was really just, it wasn't helping me grow at all. Or just, if I wanted to, get a house one day or do something amazing one day that was super expensive, I really don't think it was going to be realistic for me to make that happen with just how much I was spending on marijuana on a weekly basis, So that's just another thing I'm super proud of, when it came to hitting rock bottom and now being at a month plus, sober. My relationships with people, especially family and friends, I would isolate myself a lot, and I wouldn't steer away from relationships or try to avoid people, but it definitely affected how I was around people, and I didn't see people as often. And I'll be honest, it really affected my relationships with family. People I mean, I know family is family and they're gonna love you no matter what for the most part, but I started treating people really badly, really badly. Just canceling on plans, not following through with things, even though I love these people. It's so hard to explain, or just I don't even understand what was going on with me most of the time. But for some reason, with me, there was just no, like, I knew how important family and friends were to me, but for some reason I still didn't go for it, if that makes sense. And now I crave relationships more than ever. I want to make up for all the time that I lost these past few years, and especially that I want to say November and December. I really treated my family and friends, really badly. And so now more than ever, I want to make up for that time. I want to make things right. And it's not even just because, I feel guilty, like because of, being off the weed now. I just want that more than ever, if that makes sense. Because I've always known how important, people are in your life. Obviously, you can still live a fulfilling life by yourself, with your hobbies and your interests. And, that's fulfilling too. But the people in your life, whether it's family, friends, loved ones, it doesn't matter. Personally, for me, that is everything to me. And so when I saw that weed was kind of affecting that, this drug was kind of getting in the way of that, even if I didn't see it back then, now I see it now more than ever. And I'm just so happy to be on the other side and just, I'm going to be able to start the process of making things right, if that makes sense. And the last thing I want to talk about is just my mental state. Like, I'm so much happier, and I don't want to say I was depressed. I never have gotten diagnosed for depression or anything like that, but I just find myself not wanting to just lay on the couch all day anymore. I'm not saying I'm outside all the time and I'm active, and I know I've filmed videos of me going out for runs and stuff like that, but I recently I want to start exercising now a lot more. Just even if it's just a dumbbell I find, one dumbbell I find, in the back patio. I want to get as creative as possible and try to get active as much as possible and work out as much as possible, and that's something that I didn't really care for in the past. I think when I was on this drug a lot, I was very comfortable with just the life that I was living, and I didn't connect, the dots, and kind of seeing that the reason that I'm not where I want to be in this life, the reason why most of the time I wake up and I kind of just want to stay in bed all day. I just got used to being lazy and just having no ambition in my life. Because the reality is, yes. So I don't want to put this out there that weed just makes you super lazy. Some people get super creative off of it, and it just allows them to just go out there and just create as much as possible. So I'm not trying to say that, weed just makes you want to just lay on the couch all the time, because it doesn't do that for everyone. But it definitely did it for me. I just remember just smoking and just ordering junk food and just scrolling on my phone or watching YouTube all the time. And that's okay to do every once in a while, but I was literally doing it all the time when I came home from work, before bedtime. I really wasn't trying to do anything else in my life. And the reality is, I'm 25 years old. I'm not saying that I'm getting up there in my years, but the reality is, this is not the time in my life to just lay on the couch all day. This is the time to go out there and chase passions and to chase stuff that I really want in this life. Sorry if I'm just kind of yapping, but I really kind of just want to talk and just get my thoughts out there. But yeah, all in all, I'm just a lot happier. I'm just, I think there's still moments with my withdrawals that I get pretty irritated at times. And sometimes those emotions come out, but I'm getting better and better at tackling them. And honestly, those irritated moments are happening, less and less now. And one big thing I want to talk about that I'm like super proud of is that I feel like I've talked about this in past videos, but one of the biggest withdrawal symptoms when it comes to marijuana addiction and being off of it is that the things that you let me get this out there. The things that you used to love to do while being on that drug are going to be nearly impossible to enjoy, being sober. So for example, when I would play video games, most nights I would have a smoke session right before the video game. When I would watch a football game or a baseball game, I'd have a smoke session right before that. And doing that for 3 years in a row, your dopamine receptors are so messed up that the only way you're going to enjoy it now is if you smoke, which is really it's really sad, And for the first week or two, I was really scared because I was still not enjoying the things that I used to love to do. I was still not enjoying them sober. I turn on my Xbox and kind of scroll through some games, but I just had no there was nothing in me that wanted me to play, if that makes sense. Like maybe I'd hop on Call of Duty for a few games and I'd just kind of be done, you know. And I just didn't want to keep playing as much. Or I'd put on a football game or a baseball game and I was watching it and I just think to myself, why am I not enjoying this? You know, I love football, I love baseball. These are some of my favorite things, you know. But recently the college football playoffs started, and Arizona State University, the college that I went to, they recently made the football playoffs. And so I watched them play Texas. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was like an amazing game no matter what. So it was just an amazing game to watch in general. But it was like the first time, you know, during this recovery where I enjoyed something sober. I felt like I was like, my inner child was coming out and I felt like a kid again. It was just so relieving to just know that I'm not going to be stuck in the cycle to where I'm just trying to enjoy things without, you know, weed in my life and it's just not getting the job done. Like I can go back to my old self before I was smoking, you know, every day and all that, before I started smoking weed in the first place. I can get back to that place to where I can put on a football game and just really enjoy it because it's football and I love football. So I'm really excited for that. Baseball season starts, I want to say in like 2 to 3 months, and this will be the first baseball season where I'm going to watch it sober because I'll be honest, the past 3 years watching the Arizona Diamondbacks, it's so hard for me to remember what was even going on because I was just high every time watching the games. There would even be times where, like last season, I'd go to a baseball game and I felt like I couldn't enjoy it sober, so I'd have a smoke session before that. I'm literally going to Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, which I've been loving. I've been going to games, you know, at that field since I was a little kid. One of my favorite places to be at, and you know, there were so many moments where I felt like I had to smoke before the game to even enjoy the game. So now I'm excited for this upcoming season to actually go to some games and just enjoy it sober and to enjoy it because I love baseball, you know, and I love the Diamondbacks. I love going to Chase Field, you know. I just feel like I'm finally breaking through and I'm just going to get better each day that goes on, each week that passes. It's just going to get better and better. So I just want everyone to know that, you know, it's going to seem hard at first, especially the first week or two, but you're going to have those breakthrough moments where you're like, wow, I actually enjoyed this activity that I didn't used to enjoy sober, and I would always feel like something's missing. I'm actually enjoying it again. And that, I think that's like the first sign that you're getting back to where you need to be, you know. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. Now that I'm working again full time, I'm not going to be able to record as much, but I plan to definitely record as much as possible on my off days, maybe once in a while during the midweek. I just want people to see that change is absolutely possible no matter what you're going through, no matter if it's addiction, no matter, you know, mental health, it doesn't matter. You know, anybody can come out of the storm, anybody can get that light back in their life. And yeah, as of right now, I'm on day 33, I believe. I'm at least a day and 2 months into my sobriety journey, and I'll probably put the picture on the screen just to show where I'm at. But I just want you guys to know I'm doing so much better, so much happier. My brain is getting sharper every single day, and it's just like I said, being at work, it just that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to prove to myself, that, you know, getting this sharper brain back, that's one of the biggest things that it's going to affect in a positive way, which is how I was performing at work. And this past week or last week was just such a good it was just such a good week for me, I guess. I don't know. But with that being said, I just wanted you guys to know that hitting rock bottom, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. There's so much life still left to live once you come out of, you know, rock bottom, once you get out of there. And the reality is you're gonna get out of there. So just keep pushing, keep fighting, keep carrying on. And I thank every one of you guys for watching. The support always means the most to me. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you later.